Good afternoon. I'm Debora Dickson. I'm the host of Our Voices, and I welcome you today. I have the pleasure and honor of having one of the founding board members of Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank, Mr. Frank Taylor. And welcome to our show, Frank. We're very, very happy to have you.
Well, thanks for having me, Deb.
All right, I appreciate that. First of all, let's do a little background. And I know that I've known you a number of years. Your older brother and I graduated from high school together. We grew up out in Country Club Crest together. So we have a long history that goes back many, many years. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us today. Who and what is the Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank? Could you tell us that?
Yeah, let me tell you, the Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank, it is a grassroots community organization, or outreach organization, and we are what I would say a bunch of Vallejo people who've been in Vallejo for a long time. Mm-hmm. We've probably lived here when Vallejo was a very small town.
Yes.
And now Vallejo is a larger town. We hear more about it. And some of the things that we've been hearing about Vallejo have not been positive. Have been very negative things on the news, a lot of different things happening.
Right.
And here we are in the older part of the generation now.
Yes, that's right.
And we're looking at the young people, and we're going to stores, and we're going everywhere we go, and we're hearing and seeing things that we're not used to seeing, and images, can get started, and
yes.
stereotypings can take place.
Right.
And so VBET, what we've done is in a short time, we've only been together since like the beginning of this year.
Oh, okay.
But we've all come together basically out of our love for Vallejo.
Well, you
out
can't.
Of our,
I love Vallejo. I love Vallejo.
That's where the empowerment comes from, and the think tank, and also that we in the Black community. We want the other communities to know that we're here.
Yes.
We haven't gone anywhere, and we are ready to tackle our part of making Vallejo a very positive place.
And better place. Well, that's great. You said that you started, there are about how many board members? You got?
Currently, we have there's 10 founding board members. And we're a real small group. But we all have varied interests in Vallejo from our different experiences.
Right.
Our CEO is Diane Blackman, and she's a media person for
extraordinary. She started out on KDIA. I remember KDIA radio.
Yes.
And she started out as a disc jockey on that, and throughout the years, I understand, has become very powerful in the media industry.
And that's right. And we started out knowing Diane. We went to high school, Vallejo High School together.
Okay.
And one of the things that Diane was telling us was, by her being in Los Angeles, she has been seeing the negative images
that's all you get.
Coming out of Vallejo.
Right.
She knows better. And she says sometimes here we are living in Vallejo, and we really can't see what the negative things are from the inside. I think sometimes when people are on the outside, they can see things that we can't see.
They can. It's, as a matter of fact, with that recent earthquake, everything went out and it was about Napa, but the few things that did go out about Vallejo weren't positive.
Right.
We got affected just like the folks up county did, but there weren't real positive reviews about Vallejo and our plight that happened to us. So you think that what's your purpose, your founding board members, what is your actual purpose? What do you guys hope to accomplish?
What we actually hope to accomplish, I think what we hope to accomplish is we want to partner with a lot of the different community groups. And we already have partnered with the Omega's Boys Club.
Okay.
We've partnered with the with the NAACP.
Okay.
We've partnered with the Indian Council.
Okay.
So we've partnered with several different entities in the community, and we're also trying to partner with anyone who is doing something positive. In our meetings, what the think tank itself is a lot of people putting their minds together. It's just like UC Berkeley, they have a think tank.
Right.
They're putting their minds together. People can come and they can give their ideas. And this is a place where they can give their ideas, and we can take the ideas and try to partner with whatever entity in Vallejo that we can, because our common goal is to make Vallejo a positively better place.
Well.
So we're partnering with educators, with politicians, with normal street people, just about the artist community. You know, I'm an artist.
Yes.
And, you know, my wife's a designer. And so we're partnering up with as many entities and organizations as we can, the churches.
Yes.
I mean, you name it, we're trying to partner
Trying
with
to partner with
And
them.
So we are a think tank, and what we want to do is, you know, we partner with the Floyd Terrace Reunion organization, whatever organization, we're trying to partner with them, and we're trying to let the other entities, the Filipinos, you know, all of the other cultures, that we're here and we're positive, and we want to dispel some of the negative images that have been put out about Black Americans.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course that's what this show is all about, is to present a different side, our voices. That was the reason that I got started with this show almost 2 years ago, was to present a positive aspect of the African American community and to show a different side, so that, because I think, Frank, that when people are educated, when people have an idea of what the other person is about, it's not so scary. It's not, you know, when you don't know what a person is about, you know, you can come up with all kinds of stereotypes of what you think that they are. But when you sit around the table and you all talk together and you are respectful and listen to my ideas, and I'm respectful and I listen to your ideas, it doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't get any better than that. And so your involvement as a board member has been to do outreach and to reach out to these different community groups and to try to get them to be a more collaborative effort where you all work together. For instance, if the art walks that's going on downtown in Vallejo right now on Friday nights, I hear that, and I've been to a couple of them, I hear they're fantastic. They're bringing people out. You know, the Wednesday night farmers market, they're bringing people out. And that's what we need to have. It's not too scary to go downtown Vallejo in the evening. I go out on Wednesday night to Empress Theater and just dance and have just an absolutely fabulous time. How often can you come in your own town and pay $10, $11 and go hear a live band and just dance and be safe and just have a wonderful time? So that's what this group seems to me to be all about.
Yes, and actually on August the 8th, excuse me, we had our first event.
Yes.
And actually our first event, we had a memories walk. It was like a New Orleans style type memories walk. And it was aimed at people who have lost loved ones or whatever. And so we had a walk from the actual waterfront up to we've also partnered with the Artisan Art Gallery. And so we had an event that night. It was a small gathering, and that was kind of like an introductory to let people know that we were there. And it was one of the second Friday nights, so everybody was
I heard it was
there.
pretty successful. I heard about it, yes.
We had a real good time. We had a small group, and we had a good time, and we kind of introduced ourselves. It was kind of like we were kind of working with the Floyd Terrace Reunion, and we were working with the artisans, and like I'm an artist, so I've gone down to a lot of the different art galleries.
Walks, the art galleries that are downtown.
Like the McCree Godot Gallery. I've gone down to a lot of the art galleries just to educate myself. My wife and I, we go down, and we downtown Vallejo, I don't think a lot of people really know.
They have no idea
what's going on.
They
down
have
there.
no idea. You are so correct.
One of the things I really try to do is in the African American community is to get us up.
Yes.
Like we work all week.
Right.
But when Friday comes, it's kind of like Friday's kind of a difficult. It's kind of a difficult evening.
Right.
Just to go home and go. Well, I'm gonna go
okay, I
downtown.
worked all week. All I want to do is sleep.
So to go out and go downtown and see what's happening artistically or just what's happening, period, downtown Vallejo.
Right.
You wouldn't, like you were saying, you wouldn't know what's happening unless you go
Unless
out.
you go.
And you know, because I know a lot of people have always traditionally said, well, let's go to Oakland, let's go to Berkeley.
Yes, yes.
And we got to really understand that we're at a point right now where we can make this happen, and we can make it big. So we're starting as a small group, and we're all, I guess you can say, when you're a founding board member of something, you see part of the vision.
Sure you do.
Know, and me being
Sure you do.
And being an artist personally, vision is my world. I see things in a visionary way, and I probably always have seen things in a visionary way. And so the vision I have is the Vallejo is the ball is rolling. It rolled back and it hit the wall, and now the ball is starting to roll back this way.
There's some great things
this
happening.
is the time to get on the ball and roll with it, because I'd say in a year, things are really going to be rolling. And so let's be curious now. Let's go down. Let's be positive. Let's be part of it.
Right.
You know, all of us, especially in the African American community. Let's get involved. Let's come out and just our personal, you know, just coming down, participating personally.
Right.
You know,
right.
we'll see it, and we'll see what the potential is. So
Exactly.
that's what we're doing.
Exactly. I tell you, my girlfriends and I, usually the second Wednesday, we'll have dinner at Gracie's or some other, you know, place downtown, front room, some other wonderful establishment downtown. And then we go to the Empress Theater and we work off those calories, okay? We go in there and we have a lovely time. And I can tell you that when we come out, it's 10 o'clock at night. Everybody is happy. Usually there's hot dog vendors and sweet vendors out there, and you can, pick you up a little bite to eat, because as you know, after 9 o'clock in Vallejo, it's real hard to get something to eat. But that whole thing is just wonderful. I'm always energized, and I try to do it at least once a month. Sometimes we make it twice a month, but I try to go at least once a month. Don Bassing and his group down there at the Empress Theater. I have a friend that has a Snap You Clear. He's a photographer, and he's also a musician. And so he says, come by his shop. He's right there on the corner of Virginia and Marin Street. And they listen to music, they have a little line, and you get to look at the lovely pictures and things that he has out there. So you are so correct in that Vallejo is on the move, and now is the time for us to be curious about it and really find out about it, because that train is moving fast. It's picking up steam. There are new businesses that are coming to Vallejo. There are new people that are in Vallejo. We're not the same anymore, and we have to learn to be inclusive. And
that's right.
That's the word, inclusive.
We do. We have to remember that what we remember things being, things are changing.
Yes.
So we got to get on the forefront of that. And as African Americans, we have to set our own course.
Yes.
And we have to realize that we got to reach out to each other.
Absolutely.
We're all swimming together. So we need to reach out. We need to reach out. And we need to, how can we help the educators? How can we help the artists? How can we help the church people? How can we help each other? And I think that's our thinking. How can we help each other? How can we partner, mentor? Like myself, my wife and I, we're doing foster care. That's one thing we're doing. And we're also, I'm a mentor. I mean, I was mentored by, I can tell you how many older men when I was coming up.
Right.
I was mentored by.
That's right.
I always got a very positive notion from all of these gentlemen. It would be family. It would be friends. But the mentorship, what I picked up from that is, I look at today's youth, and
they don't have it.
Sometimes you walk by them and
you clutch your purse, you lean back, you're like, ugh,
I have a theater background,
yeah.
And so when I see them, I see it as theater. The way they have, the pants are down low and all that.
Yeah.
It's like a theater thing to me. And so I've done. I've done substituting in Vallejo schools. You know, I've worked for Budweiser. You know, I've worked for a lot of entities. I've worked for San Francisco Art Commission. I've worked out in Bayview. You know, all of the places where a lot of times you hear it and you think it's very negative. But I always had an artistic thing, like when I was working with Unified, and I worked with like the Vallejo Adult School or whatever. I had art seminars. I was always doing something artistic.
Right.
Sometimes I would be drawing in the back. I'd be tutoring, and a lot of times the young people would come back and they would say,
"What are you doing? What
did
is
you
that?"
do? Did you do that? And I'd do seminars, and so I was always able to get young people's attention, especially young men. You get their attention. You walk by them, you speak to them, and they're kind of they don't know why you're speaking to them.
Right, right.
But I think when you show that you care, I think they can pick that up.
I think so too.
And I think telling them the history of like we were talking about our old neighborhood.
Our neighborhood, exactly.
And even when we hear about our old neighborhood, it's negative.
Right.
When we hear about the
But
neighborhood.
now when we were there,
and I told myself, I remember that neighborhood.
that was perfectly fine.
That
Mr. Quinn used to sit there. He saw everything up and down Griffin Drive. There was
That's
nothing
right.
that passed that Mr. Quinn didn't know about. He knew about everything and everybody. And there were a number of different gentlemen like that during our time growing up. And maybe that's what it's going to take for us to, get back together and understand that just because it's old doesn't mean we have to throw it away, because those methods worked, and we should go back to using those methods because they work.
That's true. There's some of those methods. I just think the interest that you show in a young person, if you're telling them a history, a story,
right?
And I use art to get their imagination, and it usually works. I can walk in and paint something that's real vibrant. I know vibrant colors affect young people, and I got their attention just that 1 second.
Right.
And we used to talk, and before you work your magic with them, you show them this, and then pretty soon you put it on them. And then before you know it, you have participation.
Right.
And you the ones that don't want to be there, you say, well, you don't have to be here.
Right.
You can go down to the office or whatever. So you get kind of you get an indication that they really want to have an older, like let's say a young man, they really want an older man to mentor them.
To pay attention to them, absolutely.
And you get past the costume that they're wearing,
right?
And you go internally, and you look in their eyes, and you can tell that they want that. And so when you show interest, they feel you, and once they feel you, then it's just a conversation. It's like one example. I remember I had a briefcase, and I had one thing in my briefcase when I came to this class, and it was an at-risk class. And I remember I had one thing in my briefcase. It was a newspaper. And I opened the briefcase and I took it out, and they said, that's all you have in there? I said, this is all I need to know.
Right.
I said, because who can read and write and count in here? I told them it's a triangle.
Right.
That if you can do those three things in this society, you can survive. If you are lacking one of these
one of those three things,
guess what? And I said, and I would imagine that those of you who can't have probably gotten so sophisticated at hiding it that but I said, if you can't do the three, then you're going to have a problem in this society, surviving.
Right.
So there's negative things that can happen to you. The penal system, I told them if they get you in that, it's like an unrevolving door. They don't want to let you out.
Yeah,
so you don't want to get in that.
Once you get in, you don't get out. It seems like it's so hard. I just saw a young gentleman that again we grew up with and been gone since he was 18 years old. 30-something years have passed, and I can't imagine how difficult it is for him now. Okay, at this age now, in his late 40s, and now he's out here in this world, and it's like, now what? So I pray for him every day because I know the family very well. But you are so correct. So I understand that you all have a challenge that's coming up, Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank, and it's called Rock the Vote Challenge. Can we talk a little bit about that? What is that about?
That is about getting the African American community out to vote.
Do you know what our statistic is here in Salado County?
Our statistic has got to be very, very low.
Try 8.6.
Yeah, I mean, very low. I mean, I just can't imagine why we have to realize that the vote is the one way we can exercise our power.
Right.
And we have to think that we have to vote. And it's like on the local things. If we want something changed, if we got a problem, you know, we call our representative, or we call our congressman, or whatever we do, and we have to realize that the vote is our #1 power. And that's our thing.
You and I were talking earlier about how when we got 16, the first thing we did, we got our driver's license, how exciting that was.
I had a learner's permit.
You know, a learner's permit at 15 and a half, and then you get your driver's license. And then when I turned 18, I registered to vote. I was so excited to vote. And I haven't lost that excitement 35 years. I still am excited about voting.
Because that was passed on to us from our parents. Our parents, and you know, they involved us in the voting process. We would sit down around, in my household, we would sit around the table and we would talk about the issues. I mean, actually, I'm coming from school and I got to go home, and my friend said, well, I got to go home because we got to talk about the issues.
We got to talk about, Dad's got something to talk about.
And I thought that everybody did that, but everybody didn't.
No, they didn't.
And we used to sit down, and my parents we used to sit around the table, and we used to talk about, we got to vote, and we got the history of, we came from the South, and people died to have the right to vote.
Right.
And so I was always empowered by the vote, and I've never not voted. You know, and when I'm in my household today, I read the issues, and I make a check mark, and I make sure my wife, you know, we have the ballot, we look at it, I check everything, and I'm reading all the initiatives. I'm reading the whole thing, and I'm saying, well, what is this? And I look at the paper, and then because I was in the Teamsters Union working for Budweiser, I get the recommendations as to how we're voting,
how they're voting
as a union person. And so I'm very, very excited, as you say, about the process. And so we are trying to rock the vote. We want to get as many in the African American community as we can to get out and vote, because that's our power.
That is absolutely our power. And we have to realize that it is power. You know, a lot of people look at it as, okay, yeah, if I don't vote, my one vote doesn't count. That is so not true. That is just so untrue. And as you say, when you feel empowered by what you can do, then you need to do. A lot of people like to throw stones, but they don't like to come up with solutions. I'm all about solutions. So if we can come up with a solution, and the one way we can do that is by using our power to vote. If we don't like something that's happening in our city and something local, we need to make sure that we're registered. We need to make sure that we vote. Now, when you guys say Rock the Vote Challenge, tell me how specifically you guys plan to go about doing that.
Well, we plan to canvass the churches. We plan to get out in the actual neighborhoods, and with me personally, I start with my neighbor next door.
Okay.
The circle starts as a small circle.
It's just the people that you influence.
And then it goes.
Absolutely.
It goes wider.
Absolutely.
So when we say rock the vote, when we talk to whoever we talk to, we're going to say the school board. We need this initiative for the school board so that we can get the schools to look as good as they can possibly look, and whatever other issues we have in Vallejo that are going to be positive, that are going to move us forward.
Right.
And the vote, if anybody can come up with another
way to do
system
it, right,
where we can improve things, then we're open to it. But since we're in a country where we have the right to vote, to express our opinion through the vote.
Right.
And I think when we have something that we are really, really care about as a block, our power is generated through, we can just about direct who we want and how they're doing positive things for us. So that's how we're going to do it.
Oh, I am so excited about that, and I hope that you come to our church. I know that my pastor would be just absolutely receptive to that, and I'm sure that most of the churches would be receptive to that voter registration. A lot of times people don't think that they're able to vote, or they moved and they think that it's really hard to get, registered. It's the simplest thing in the world. It's just so simple. You can go to the JFK Library, you can go to the DMV, I mean, there's just so many places that you can go and pick up that voter registration card. So I want to take this time to thank you for coming out. We've had a lovely, lovely conversation. I've learned a lot about Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank. I have known Diane for a number of years, and you again for a number of years, and I think what you guys are doing is wonderful, and I wish you the best of luck. I know that a collaborative effort is the way to go, because together you can make a fist. Everybody standing apart, you don't have a whole lot of power. So thank you again for coming out. And real quickly, as I wrap this particular show up, I want to talk real quickly about Solano Middle School. They have a full service community school, and they're going to be having a family night on October the 14th at the school gymnasium between 5:30 and 7:30. So parents, guardians, we invite you to come out to their upcoming family night to discuss the parent and student surveys. They've got outreach programs, parent workshops, and student leadership opportunities. And oh, great, they got door prizes for the first 10 families. So I invite you to come out. That would be October the 14th at Solano Middle School. My name is Debora Dickson. This has been Our Voices, and I've had the pleasure of having one of the founding members of Vallejo Black Empowerment Think Tank, Mr. Frank Taylor, as my guest, and I appreciate you all very much for showing up today. We'll see you all again soon. Remember, get out the vote. You have the right to vote, and you can vote. So let's all make a difference with that one little single vote that you think doesn't count. That might be the one vote that tips it over, huh?